Hello and welcome to the CapEx Chat. My name is Daniel Lindén and I'm here with my colleague and friend Fredrik Weissenrieder.
Thank you, Daniel. Today we're going to talk about capital intensity as a term. What does that really mean? All right, so to one of the more
to one of your
terms.
babies.
Well, one of my babies. Yeah, the term capital intensive. What does that really mean? I mean, I think we can all agree that, of course, we would all understand each other if we talked in terms of the steel industry being capital intensive, or chemical industry being capital intensive, or pulp and paper being capital intensive. And then we would think that, okay, so a tissue converting plant or even a recycle-based tissue paper machine or a lumber mill, sawmill, they are less capital intensive. That is how we all talk. But what do we really mean by that?
Intensive compared to what?
Exactly. So if we talk about CapEx in relation to sales, then we can see that, sales of a steel mill is here and we invest that much. In tissue is that much of sales value and we invest that much. So steel is more capital intensive than tissue. But if we look at it from another perspective, which is, okay, so how much money out of the cash that we generate can we spend on capital? Then I claim that industries are, on average, they have the same capital intensity.
And that comes back to the assumption or the precondition, the definition that the average profitability expected would be 1.0 on the capital.
Exactly. That you return a net present value of 0 over time, which is not true in reality. I mean, but if we just are a bit theoretical for a while, because if you look at then the steel, you might have this much EBITDA, and how much of that will go into CapEx? Well, maybe that much. And then you look at tissue or lumber, a lumber mill, and you say, okay, we have that much EBITDA, and out of that, we're going to spend that much capital. It's the same. The relationships are the same. Over time, they are. We have actually...
If you're at 1.0.
Yes.
And similar life.
And 1.0 is how much money you make in relation to your capital over time, over life cycle, which gives you then net present value of 0, just to explain to our listeners. We have seen in our projects, we were a bit surprised first that when we did our projects in what is traditionally perceived as being capital intensive, they were like here in their performance when it comes to capital, and we could take them to that level. That are perceived as being less capital intensive, they were here, and we took them to that level. And it's not that actually they had better opportunities or so. They were simply worse at dealing with their capital. Yeah. They neglected it, basically, compared to steel, compared to pulp and paper.
And I think it's a question of low expectations.
Yes.
Because if you're in a capital-intensive industry, you are supposed to be able to handle your capital relatively efficiently.
And you staffed to take care of that.
While if you are into something more heavy on brands and other things, well, more of your focus goes somewhere else and you pay less attention to your capital and your mills and your sites. And
so when you pay less attention to something over 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to be worse off. So if you neglect your capital for 10, 15 years, thinking that you're not capital intensive, other things are more important, you have lost a lot of money.
Yeah, and it could be so that some industries could learn a lot. Some of the more capital-intensive industries, which I believe is true, could learn a lot when it comes to branding and all of these things from other, potentially. I know it's difficult when we're talking about commodities or so, but still potentially from other industries, while the less capital-intensive probably have a lot to learn from companies with experience from capital-intensive industries.
Clearly.
If you liked what you heard us talk about today and want to hear more about similar topics, don't forget to click subscribe or follow below.
And if you liked what you heard today, press like.